Welcome back to Switch to Linux. So today we're going to have a look at the LibreOffice Writer program in a little bit more detail than we've covered before. I've talked a little bit about LibreOffice in the past, and I've talked about how you can add your custom context menus and a few other items. But we're going to look at the Writer in more detail today. And as we do that, I'm going to overcome a few of the smaller objections, and we're just going to talk about how you might get your Writer program set up. So, first I'll say that LibreOffice itself is probably, in my opinion, based upon somebody who has used the Office programs for a long time. In fact, my first Office program, I have an OEM copy of Office 95. And I have do I have a 97? I don't remember if I have a 97. I think the next one I have is an XP copy. And then I got a 2007 copy. And on my Windows computer behind me, I still run Office 2007. But as far as any newer computers I've gotten and any of my Linux computers, I run LibreOffice. There are a few other open source and free Office programs. OpenOffice is one that's not really being maintained anymore, if at all. And so that one's kind of going by the wayside. Another one is, I might be wrong on the name. I think it's like WPS or something. I have no idea. It's whatever is pre-installed on Ubuntu, because I didn't even know it was there, and I looked for LibreOffice, didn't see it, so I installed LibreOffice on that. And actually, what's neat about that is when I look at Spreadsheet, I might compare Spreadsheet programs down the road, because I have both of those programs installed, and I use spreadsheets for my books and for my budgeting stuff. And so I did a whole lot of work in the version of the spreadsheet program that is on Ubuntu, and then I switched over to LibreOffice, and it was night and day. LibreOffice just blows it away. There's another one I can't remember the name of that somebody had recommended as a free Office program that said was really good, but it wasn't open source. It's a China-based program. I forget the name of it. Somebody will probably mention it in the comments. I looked at it and it's like, no, I'm not really interested in a closed source program from China. So as far as I'm concerned, LibreOffice is the best application for doing your basic Office work. And of course, it's all free and open source. And so what we're going to do, though, is we're going to walk through looking at LibreOffice. Now, of course, one of the objections that I frequently hear is, if you do your documents in LibreOffice and email them to somebody, they may not have the same fonts. And that is a true objection unless you're prepared for that. LibreOffice itself comes with a whole lot of free and open source fonts, because something you do not realize or may not realize is that fonts themselves have the same copyright protections as images and other digital works of art. So some fonts are free, and you can get free fonts in a lot of different places, but a lot of fonts you actually have to pay for, and you have to be careful how you use them, if you have them or not. And I will occasionally get somebody who wants to use, they'll mock up some website concept, oh Lord help us, in Word. And then they'll be like, I want it to look exactly like this. Well, A, you can't because of mobile responsiveness, screen sizes differ. But B, you did your whole mock-up in Calibri. And Calibri is not a open source and free font, although it does come on a Windows computer, so it may as well be. All right. Now, I'm not sure if the latest versions of Microsoft Office are running Calibri or not, but I know that Office 2007 is, and that is the default font. So, if you are passing documents on to somebody from your LibreOffice install, you want to make sure that you have fonts that is going to be found on a common Windows computer. Now, there is a program out there to help you with that. Last time I tried to use it, it did not work initially. I fought with a little bit and successfully won. There is an easier way to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at how you can install a lot of your free and open source fonts like Arial and Verdana, whatever else, on your Linux machine in the event that they are not already there. And really, I'm just going to have a quick look here. So yeah, a lot of those fonts are not in the system. What we're going to do, let me transition the camera over so you can see my screen with LibreOffice on it. And we can pick down Liberation Serif as the default font for this setup here. And then you can scroll around here and see which fonts are installed. So like I like Tahoma. My first book was written in Tahoma font. That's not on here. Verdena's not on here. You know, we have the Ubuntu fonts and Liberation Serif and Liberation Sans and Deja Vu Sans, which are all great fonts. They are just not fonts that are shared with a Windows computer. And so with that being said, you want to make sure you have some fonts on here that are shared on a Windows computer, because if I do this in Liberation Serif and then email it to you, it's going to open the document on your word processing application, which very well is going to be Microsoft Word or even maybe Google, who knows. And if you open it up and you do not have that font installed, then it will actually give you, it'll first go through and check for the font. If it can't find it, then it will look for the default font of your system. And so if I'm on Office whatever, Office pay me too much money, 2077 bajillion, and I email a document over and I open it up in LibreOffice, it's going to open right now in the default of Liberation Serif because that's the default font. And we want to overcome that. So what we're going to do is first I'm going to attempt to install the open source font package. It might be working at this point in time. I just don't know. So we're going to try and install it. And if it doesn't install nicely, then we're going to look up how to fix it because, hey, problem solving in real time. Why not? So all I did is I just did an internet search on Start Page for Linux Mint install Windows fonts. And this gives me, this is a program, TTF MS Core Fonts Installer, and the package installs Arial Black, Arial, and Andela Mono, Comic Sans, because we all need Comic Sans on our computer. Courier New, Georgia, Impact, Times New Roman, because why not? Trebuchet, is that correct pronunciation? Verdena, Webdings. Okay. So we're going to attempt to install this first simply by clicking the install button. Let's gonna see what happens here. I did not test this part of this. I installed this for a friend a little bit ago, and I remember an error occurring. Let's see if that is resolved or not. So our control is going to be, can I find Arial in this font list when this is done? Let's see what happens here. And I think what was happening before is the location where the fonts were at were not correct. I did not see any errors or anything there, so possibly we have them. And I might have to restart this. Oh, nope, there you go. So it works now. Well, I had to fight with that last time I tried to install this a few months ago, but they got everything fixed, it looks like. So now we have some default fonts that you will find on a Windows computer. Now, what if you need a font that is not there? Well, there's a solution for that as well, especially if you have a Windows computer, and my computer running right here is now running... Oh, hold on. Where are you, Mr. Screensaver? There you go. All right, so you can see this computer is actually running Windows 8 right now. Lord help us. But what I did is I booted into Windows 8 because I wanted to grab a couple Windows Core fonts. I put them onto a flash drive. I then plugged the flash drive into this computer, and then I dropped the fonts on the desktop. So I picked up the Calibri font. Now, disclaimer, the Calibri font is not a free and open source font, so you have to be careful what you're doing with it. I'm going to show you, and this will apply to any font out there. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how you can install a font either manually or through the installer. And then what we're going to do is I'm just actually going to show you that it works, verify it, and I'm going to delete it because I do not know the legality of running it on the Linux computer. Somebody out there who knows more about this stuff can let me know, is it okay? I think it probably is because, like, Windows wants total dominance of their computer systems, and this is the default font on the program they want to run dominance on everything else, so I don't see a problem with having Calibri on there. But just in case, I'm going to install it, verify it works, and I'm going to delete it. So what I did is I just went onto the computer. You go into Windows/fonts. That's your font directory. I look for the font that I wanted. You know what I should have done is I should have transferred symbol over here because I actually do use Greek fonts for Bible study notes. So what I did is I just grabbed everything in the Calibri group, which grabs the Calibri TrueType font, the bold, the italics, the light italics, etc. So if you just open one of these up, we're just going to open up this guy here, which is the bold italic. There's a button up here to install. Go ahead and click on that, and booyah, installed. So now if I come into my system here, I should be able to find Calibri, but you'll notice the only Calibri option that I have right now is the bold italics, because we need all of these. What? Yes, all right. I started talking, and the kitty wants to come join us for a little bit.
Use LibreOffice. It rocks.
Okay. All right. So what we want to do now is, that's how you can install it automatically. Just double click on it, click the install button. But if you want to install all of these all at once, you can come into your home folder, and you actually need to go back into your main file system, user, share, and then come down and find fonts. What, cat? What? Shut up. Yes, you, shush. Shh. No. Shh. Yeah, no, good. I have no idea what the cat wants. This one's the talkative one. All right, so the Calibri is a TrueType font. We can tell that because if you look at the file format, it's TTF. That's TrueType font. So your other formats are, there's a TTC. So just want to find, I have no idea what that is. Just find the appropriate ending for your font. So we're going to drop this into the TrueType fonts. And we might already have a folder for this. It looks like we do not. So let me see if that installed it on its own. I'm not sure exactly where it decided to install that font. But what I can do is I can just copy this folder over here. And, oh, duh, I missed a step. Sorry about that. When you come into the folder, since this is a root file system folder, I totally forgot that step. I apologize. And this is, once again, benefit of Linux Mint. Open as root. Give it your root password. Now you can see we are with elevated privileges. Now we just copy that in. There you go. Close that. Close that. Oop. Want this guy over here. And now you'll find Calibri is an option, and then we have the bold, the italics, etc. So that's how that font works. I'm just going to switch to some other font. Then we're going to go right back into the folder system again, and I'm going to, let's see, user, share, fonts, go into TrueType, open as root, and I'm just going to find Calibri and delete it. Just in case that's the, I can't necessarily have that on this computer, and I don't really have a desire to. All right. So that method would apply to any font that you need off of any other computer. Just grab it on your drive, plug it in, copy it into that folder, or just double click, open it, view it, and hit the install button. All right, so the next thing you might want to do is, if you are going to be, like, if you're writing these documents just for internal purposes, or if you're in a business enterprise and you're using LibreOffice and there's really no outside communication, you can pretty much leave it as it is. But for most of us, where we are going to be emailing files, we might be sharing files, opening files from other people, we might want to make sure that our default is something that a typical Windows computer would have. So the default font is set under Tools and other Options, and then come down to LibreOffice Writer, not Writer, I apologize. Is it Base? I think it's Writer Web. Hey, cats. My cats are getting into a fight back behind me. Excuse me. Jeesh. All right. Scare them away, man, we'll go fight somewhere else. But yeah, every now and again, my kitties like to get into a little scuffle. So, Sorry about that. All right. So they're not all cute. Sometimes they're little devils. All right. So it is under LibreOffice Writer. That's where I thought it was. You want to go down to Basic Fonts, Western, and then these over here allows you to customize things. So whatever you want your default font to be, you just want to grab something that you know is on a Windows computer. So I could grab Verdana perhaps, or maybe Arial, or something like that. So just grab a font that is available. You can, if you want to do something else, and you want to do something for internal documents, you can actually come in here and reset all of your various fonts. You can reset all these guys and to something else. So in this case, our basic default is Verdana. So if I hit OK and close this, we're going to not save. I'm going to go ahead and close the website there too. If we open up our writer, now you'll see that it opens with a default font of Verdana instead of Liberation Serif. So now we have a font that if I write this document and I email this document to somebody who opens it in Office, there is a greater likelihood they're going to open it with the same font that I had intended them to see. So that is that. The next thing you might want to do in this is you might want to customize your toolbars. So your toolbars are up at the top, and this goes back to, if you remember back before the silly ribbon was introduced in Office 2007, if you remember where that silly ribbon was, the ribbon looks cool and flashy, and that's what we talked about way back when it was introduced. It looks cool and flashy, but it's like practically impossible to customize. This goes back to that old school methodology where you can easily customize this. So if I have no desire for a paragraph tab, I can simply right click this. Can I remove this? Hit the visible buttons, and I can actually uncheck it here. So where's my paragraph at? I just got to find the one I'm looking for here. Maybe we'll just do... I'm just going to look what is here. I'm just looking for something that I know I'd never use. Okay, non-printing characters. So if I uncheck that, you'll see that it will now go away. So that's how I can simply remove any given button. If I want to do a whole lot more customization, if you find this spot over here, you'll see 3 little dots over here. I think it's 3. Yeah, it's 3 little dots. It'll be easier or harder to find based upon your theme. This is actually a bar that allows you to drag it around. But if you right-click on that, you'll have some other options, and we can customize the toolbar. So this is where we can make multiple changes a whole lot more. So if I really want the help option, I can do that, and now it will add help to it. Or I can come over here and just take off some basic things. Like I don't use commenting and formatting and stuff nearly as much. So I'm going to take those off. So that's kind of what you can do as far as that is concerned. Still looking for, let's see. Oh, that's the one. I was like, which button's this? It's the draw function. So I can do that, and then I can also customize any other toolbars that are in here as well. All right, if I want to add another toolbar, I can come under, I think it's under View and Toolbars, and any toolbar that I click will show up. Now, some of the toolbars will appear as hoverovers like this, and with these I can grab them and I can drop them onto an existing row, or I can drop them right here on where the ruler is, and that will add a new row. So that will enable me to customize and add toolbars. Now you will notice that some of the toolbars will actually appear on the bottom, like the drawing, because those ones will actually show up automatically if you are in a drawing type mode. One of them, for example, is the toolbar relating to your bullet points. So if I hit bullet points here, 1, 2, 3, I need to hit an enter out of there and spell 3 correctly. I'm bad at spelling, but not that bad. So if I just highlight these guys and click your bullet points, now you'll see that we have a bullet point toolbar that shows up down at the bottom. So this will allow us to go in or out toolbar buttons there. Okay. And then we can also move up or down. So if I want to move something up or down in the list, I can move it like that with the toolbar. I can restart the numbering. This would, of course, apply on a numbering toolbar. And then I can insert an unnumbered entry at any given point. So there's a lot of stuff that you can do on these. Notice that when I leave the bullet points, it will go away. When I click back on any bullet point, we get our bullet point toolbar. So that's why some of them will appear at the bottom of the screen if you just select that option. You can, of course, move them up to the top if you want. We also have a properties bar here. So if you click on the properties bar, we have a lot of extra items here, so I can make some changes to the characters, default styles here. So here's our various styles, line spacing, whatnot. We also have some styling over here. Here's some arrows we can input. And then here is, I'm not sure exactly what the navigator is doing here. You can expand this or condense this with the little gray arrow on this instance. And notice that your icons will change based upon your theme setting. The default Linux Mint theme setting, these guys are an ugly, horrible gray. And it's actually kind of pretty ugly. And I really like this. One of the reasons I like this theme. Let me actually just show you that if I can. I'm trying to remember exactly what I would need to do that. It might just be changing the icons. No. I might not be remembering exactly how I'm going to change those. Let me go back in the main settings, see if something else grabs my attention. I forget exactly how I change those. I know you can actually change it from within here as well. I believe under the tools and options. I can't remember exactly where this is. But somewhere in here you can actually change the fonts or the icons as well. I just don't remember exactly where that is. You can do an internet search to find that. It's going to totally drive me crazy until I find it. But it was just a matter of which type of formatting you're using. I think it actually is controlled under your themes. It's kind of a moot point. I'm trying to make it uglier, and I don't really want to do that. Still that great mystery as to why the mint wide darker. Okay, never mind. They got it fixed on this one. Okay. All right. Yeah, I think it's the... I think what I'd have to do is I'd have to change the entire desktop theme because it ends up it has to do with the GTK themes, I believe. One of the theme packages. I'm sure somebody out there will know exactly which one it is. I don't remember, but the main default at least on Linux Mint 17.3, the default is actually this horrible gray that's very hard to use. This one's actually much more usable. But anyway, everything's up here as far as tracking down the tools that you need. The next thing that you might want to do is if you are using writing documents frequently, you might want the ability to right-click on your desktop and create a document. Now, I did a whole video on how to do this, but briefly, all you need to do is save something to what is usually an empty folder called templates. Anything you put inside templates will appear in that right-click menu. So what I'm going to want to do is get this set up how I want. So despite Verdana is the basic default font, if I want to set up a specific document, maybe with, for example, the Arial font, I can go ahead and change that, make any other changes to this I want, and I want to simply save as, go to Templates, New Writer Document. This is one of the things I don't like about Linux Mint, is I'm so used to, because of Windows, when you hit the Save As button, usually what is defaulted is to highlight the part under the name. New Writer Document. I'm still getting used to that, because I've been doing the Windows way for 15 years, 20 years. I forget how long I've been messing around with computers. Ooh, yeah, we're coming up on 20 years. All right, so New Writer Document saved inside Templates. Hit Save. Close this. Close this. Oh, not closing right. Now if you right click, did not save right. That's what was going on. It was waiting for me to save something correctly and it wasn't doing it right. I apologize for that. Yeah, let's go ahead and recover that document. Finish. All right. I've never actually had that problem before. Save as, templates. There it goes. Now it's saved. So now if I right click, you'll see that I have New Writer Document here. It looks like I have my writer document. Actually, I think that's because of the theme setting that I have, but let's go ahead and have a look at this. I'm going to do properties. I don't like that icon. I'm going to see if I can find a better icon for that. You know what? I'll find another better icon for that later. Let me do a real quick look. I'm trying to remember where the it's Pix Maps, I think. Yeah, I can make it a dog. I don't like that one either. Looking for the basic, like the writer document file I have on my other Linux Mint computer. I really like that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change the icon with that whenever I find it. But if you right click, you'll see it'll be here. It's basically the one I have almost resembles a Word document. In fact, you know what? I know exactly where I can grab that thing because it's basically this is the icon I want. So if I come over here and I configure the menu and I hit the menu, open menu, options, go into Office, properties. So this is user share, icons, GNOME, scalable, and apps. So if I come into our templates, just going to pull this guy over there so I can remember where that is. And then I'm going to right click here, properties, click on this. Let's see, we're going to go computer, user, share, icons. GNOME, scalable. Oop, I gotta get into GNOME first though. Scalable, apps, and it's called LibreOffice Writer. That's the one I want. Open that, close, 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 cancel, cancel, close, right click, create new document. There you go. Now it's the blue writer document. All right, so that is how to set that up. So now anytime I come in here, right click, create a new document, it still gives me this icon here. I'm going to have to change this icon a different place. or it might reset on a reboot. I don't know. I'll check it on a reboot, and then if it doesn't do that, then there's another place to change this one. New doc. Open this up. You'll notice that it is the Arial font, and now we are pretty much set to go. So now, the last thing, I guess maybe a couple final things. You might want to save your document as a PDF. I'm not sure if New Word versions has this. I imagine by now it does. I know as of Office 2007, you still needed a plugin to export as a PDF, but in LibreOffice, it's simply a button, export as PDF. I believe it's also under File menu, export as PDF. The other thing is if you want to save the document as, for example, if you know you are sending this to somebody who's going to be opening it up in Microsoft Office, the default is the ODT file, but you can save it as the docx for 2007 to 2013, or you can save it as a doc 97 to 2003. And, of course, you still have the HTML, RTF, TXT, and a basic docx XML file. So that's how you would save a document for anything else. So obviously, if somebody sends you a docx, it will open just fine. The only concern is, do you have the fonts installed? So if you are doing a lot of collaboration back and forth with people on Windows computers, or you're sending stuff back and forth yourself between Windows computers, make sure that you are... just install some of those Windows fonts. You don't have to go through the font installer we did initially. You can simply grab a USB drive, grab a Windows computer, grab the fonts that you want, transfer them over as we had already talked about. So that is LibreOffice in a little bit more detail. So with that, understand that this program will do everything that you can do with Word. With all that being said, I find myself lately, anytime I have to write documents now, I go for LibreOffice. I will turn around and write a document on my Linux Mint laptop before I'll go on my Windows computer anymore. I'm just finding I'm much more comfortable with it. It goes back to that old school method of customizing everything that I want it to look like and everything else. So with all that being said, LibreOffice is a great program. You should have a look at it. It's probably pre-installed on your distro unless you're running a really lightweight distro, and it's available for download on most platforms as well. So this has been Tom, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.